Hi, my name's Alex and I'm really concerned about the recent proposal to delist 74,000 hectares of the World Heritage Area listed forests. These are some of Tasmania's most precious, most beautiful forests. If we lose them, we lose part of Tasmania. They are so critical to our identity and to our international standing as an ecotourism destination. If we lose these forests now, they can never be recovered, and if we lose this protection, they are at risk of being logged again. I'd like you to consider this issue, as I am in the lead up to the coming state election.
Hello, my name's Leo Schofield. I wasn't born in Tasmania. I was born in a rather treeless, arid part of New South Wales, in the northwest of New South Wales. But I've come to love Tasmania in an extraordinary way, as if I really had been born here and lived all my life here. I'm permanently living here now, and I find it one of the most fascinating places on earth. I've worked in the arts a lot, and part of my recent work has been seeking World Heritage nomination for the Sydney Opera House, where I was on the board for 9 years, and I know what a labyrinthine, Byzantine process it is to get this, and it recognises something that is of incalculable value to a city or to a state. And the World Heritage listing for the Tasmanian forest is a major triumph for this state. It recognises internationally the value of this, not just for its own natural beauty and the fact that it has survived for hundreds of thousands of years, but it also has a very practical view in that, like the arts, it attracts people, it attracts tourists and visitors, and works as one of the unique features of the state. I've always spent a lot of time in my life in advertising and always had beaten into my head the idea of the unique selling proposition, the USP. And I believe that Tasmania has a number of unique features. It has Mona, it has a wonderful built heritage from the colonial era, but most treasurable and most extraordinary and astonishing is the survival of its forests. And I think that survival is absolutely critical, not only to Tasmanians, but to the world. It's a World Heritage listing, and I don't think it should be mucked around with. They wouldn't delist the Sydney Opera House, they shouldn't delist the forests.
My name's Jamie Kirkpatrick, and I'm a Distinguished Professor in Geography and Environmental Studies at the University of Tasmania, and have worked on World Heritage issues since the late 1970s. The World Heritage Area, I'm particularly fond of the Tasmanian Wilderness World Heritage Area because I've done a lot of research in it, and I've helped put together the cases for its listing under the criteria and the conditions of integrity. And I can tell you it's a wonderful, wonderful area, and that the extensions were worthy extensions to an absolutely great place. The federal government is basically, and the state Liberals are basically coming out to revoke parts of the extensions because they see that action as getting them 2 extra seats in Tasmania. The forest industry, of course, doesn't really want it, and the conservation groups that worked with the forestry industry obviously don't want this revocation. So the values are there, the values of tall forests, the values of natural aesthetic values of the tall forests against the mountains of Tasmania. There are some small areas that have been logged, and even some that have been turned into plantations, but these fade into insignificance compared to the proportion of the World Heritage Area that protects redwoods in California, where most of it has been logged in the past, and they're trying to bring it back. Because one of our responsibilities as World Heritage managers, so we're managing for the rest of the world, for all the world, not just for Australia or for Tasmania or for one election. What we're doing is managing for the future, and one of our duties is rehabilitation. It's written in the World Heritage Convention. It's written that World Heritage Areas, the managing bodies, should rehabilitate them, should present them, should document them, should look after them, and that's what we should be doing, instead of this political sideshow, which is just totally disgusting.
I'm Joan Masterman, and I've been operating businesses that are sustainable and special in Tasmania for over 25 years. And I was really shocked when I heard that after all the governments at every level deciding there should be a major addition to the World Heritage Area, that this is not going to any longer be the case. To take people on guided walks through these incredible forests is something that's so important that this keeps continuing in Tasmania, because the multiplier effect of these projects in the villages and towns is enormous in terms of the state's income and opportunities for young, wonderful guides to get employment. The tourism I've been involved in is a great employer of young Tasmanians. It creates, Tasmania is now getting an image as an iconic, sustainable island for the very best of nature-based walking, swimming, every type of canoeing, every type of outdoor activity you can imagine. These activities are healthy and wonderful exercise for both young and aging bodies, and Tasmania is becoming an iconic destination for this type of sustainable tourism. The more that's added to the World Heritage Area, the more Tasmania stands out, not only in Australian terms, but in international terms, as a unique and amazing destination.
I'm Forrest Whitten. I work with timber from the standing tree to finished product in furniture and housing in buildings. I feel it's really important to keep these World Heritage Areas. It was a huge effort on all parts to get to a conclusion, and now to rip it up is just disgusting. I've done a large amount of salvaging in Forestry Tasmania's areas after they've logged, and to lose these forests to that sort of logging and that sort of waste would be a huge shame and a real loss to everybody, not just the industry but across the community.
Yeah, the political nature of the revocation is just incredibly apparent when you look at the maps, because the Liberals are going around saying that sort of the whole thing's really terrible because it's just all clear feld and plantation stuff. But when you look at the areas that they're proposing to revoke, there's only one of those that has any sort of clear feld plantations to any great degree in it, and most of them are places where there's really tall trees over rainforest that haven't been logged at all. So it's just so obvious just looking at the map. So come and do geography and environmental studies so you can read the things.